What's going on, guys? It is Jordan Santiago. I wanted to come and make this video because it is a question that I get asked a whole lot, right? And it is, what is the best place to wholesale in right now? All right, so I get that question all the time, so I wanted to just make a video, answer some of these questions. That way you guys can jump into some of these markets and start killing and making money, okay? So if you don't know me, I probably have done either a flip, a novation, a wholesale deal in probably 35 out of the 50 states in the country. Okay, I'm talking about from Hawaii to Wisconsin to Florida to New York to Texas to Minnesota to Arizona. Whole bunch of different places, some big markets, some very small, some cool places, some weird ass places that you would never think that people even want to live. But it just goes to show you that there's deals all across the country if you know how to take advantage. And if you don't know how to take advantage, and if you don't know how to do deals remotely in virtual wholesale, then you need to be following this channel. You need to be following me on Instagram at TheJordanSantiago or X at TheJSantiago. That way you can learn the game and understand that you don't just have to do deals in your backyard, right? I live in New York. And if I just search for deals in my backyard in just New York, I definitely would not close as many deals and make as much money. Period, point blank, very, very simple, right? So once you learn how to do deals in a bunch of different markets across the country, right? It's the same process. I don't care if it's the state right next to you or if it's across the country, okay? Which is how we did deals in Hawaii, how we've gotten leads in Alaska and places like that, okay? Because it's all the same process, right? So without speaking too much, let's dive right into it. And before we dive into it, I want to preface this by saying this has nothing to do with any of the laws going on, even though wholesaling is still free game almost everywhere. And there's ways to always get around it. Wholesaling will always be around. Has nothing to do with the laws or the contracts or anything like that. This just has to do with finding deals deeply discounted. Where are the best states to find deals that are deeply discounted? That way you can get them and wholesale them quick too, right? So there has to be a demand from a buyer as well. So we're not talking about like a little place in Alabama that has 300 people. We're talking about states where you can go into these markets, find high demand, and be able to get these properties under contract and sell them quick. All right, so the first one is, I love Connecticut. Okay, Connecticut, the only con with Connecticut is it's an attorney state. Okay, so that can make some things difficult when it comes to the closing process and things like that, because attorneys, they make things a little bit more difficult. But when it comes to demand, since it's close to New York City, okay, and when it comes to property values, if you know me, I don't like property values too high and I don't like them too low. Too high kills your deal flow. Too low makes your assignment fees very, very small. You want to be somewhere in the middle. That way you can have high assignment fees, right? 15, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 assignment fees, but also have consistent deal flow so you can make a lot of money, right? That balance is really where you want to be. And Connecticut has that. Connecticut is right in this sweet spot for you to go in. Basically, the whole damn state is pretty right for you to go in, start marketing, and start getting deals at a deeply discounted rate. There's a lot of landlords in there in that state as well, and a lot of flippers, okay? Number two is Virginia. Same thing, there's a lot of pockets in Virginia that are absolutely perfect for whether you're trying to get a deal to fix and flip, whether you're trying to get multifamily, whether you're trying to wholesale, whether you're trying to novate properties. It all works. There's a lot of Richmond, Norfolk. There's a lot of different areas there that I still think are pretty untapped in Virginia. There's not a lot of people that talk about that state. So that's one. And by the way, none of these are in order. This is all just random, okay? I'm not ordering it best to worst. This is just the 10 best in a random order, okay? The third one is Ohio. All right, I think a lot of people know about Ohio. There's a lot of places to go in Ohio, whether it's Cleveland or Cincinnati or Columbus, Toledo, right? There's a lot of different places. Same thing, okay? Those Midwest areas are very, very good. I think with that state, there's a lot of places, again, in that perfect price range where you can go in and you can find good rental properties for cheap. You can find good flips for cheap. you can get properties in a position where you can novate them, right? So Ohio is definitely the third one that is just coming off my mind right now. The fourth one is Indy. All right, Indy. Again, sort of those Midwest areas. Okay, same thing. There's a lot of pockets in Indy where the property values are very, very low. Right? If we're talking about like pockets of like Fort Wayne, Indiana, and stuff like that, I try to stay away from that because again, if you're getting properties, same thing like Detroit, Michigan, for example, right? If you're getting properties with an ARV of $70,000, it's not really a lot of room for you to make a lot of money. Okay, there's really not. So I try to stay away from those pockets. But if we're talking about the pockets where the median home value is 150 or 200, 250, 300, 400, around that range, that's going to be perfect. Very wholesale friendly, that state. Okay, so I think there's a lot of opportunity in that state as well. Texas, obviously. Okay, Texas is huge. I'm not even gonna go over the amount of areas where you could absolutely crush it in Texas. The only pain in the ass with Texas is that it's a non-disclosure state. So if you don't have access to the MLS, which you should if you're gonna wholesale there, you can't really see the comps. You can't run comps super accurately. You can't see what other properties sold for, which makes it a little difficult for someone without access to the MLS to really come up and say, oh, this property is worth X or this property is worth X. Okay, so if you are gonna choose to wholesale in Texas, you need to get MLS access, team up with a real estate agent, pay their MLS fees, tell them all your retail leads you'll send to them just for exchange for access for into the MLS. Okay, so Texas, there's so many different places where you can kill it. There's huge demand there, whether it be land or whether it be homes and buildings, so much demand. So go take a look into that market because there's too many different counties and cities where you can absolutely crush it in. Same thing that goes for Florida, right? Florida is big. There's so many different markets in Florida where you can absolutely crush it. Florida is cooling off right now. In 2025, as I'm recording this, in June of 2025, Florida is cooling off right now, but it is still Florida. If you can get a deal at a deep discount, okay, or just at a good price, there's going to be buyers. There's so many buyers in that market that are looking for deals that you can get even an okay deal and you'll be able to sell it. Whether, again, it's land because people are building a lot in Florida, right? We're in a housing shortage. People are building a lot. Or whether it's homes or buildings, there's always going to be demand, especially right now. Even though sales on the market have cooled off a little bit, which does affect the wholesaler because a flipper is going to look at your deal and think, ooh, what if I pay for this and it sits on the market for much longer? They're going to lose money that way. So it does affect us slightly, but there's going to be so many people that are interested in your deal if you get a good deal that it will fly off the shelf. So from top to bottom of Florida, there's places all over. So go check Florida out. What else we got? Number 7 is Tennessee. Okay. Now Tennessee is another one. Tennessee is very hot. There's people from all over the Northeast moving to Tennessee. Okay, so there's a lot of demand. There's a lot of population migration going to Tennessee, and buyers, there is no shortage of buyers there. Again, whether it be for land or whether it be for homes, multifamily, all that good shit. Okay, so if you are looking to really like pick a market, I still feel like Tennessee is somewhat untapped as well. Not like the Nashvilles and things like that, but there's a lot of pockets in Tennessee that you can go in and absolutely start closing deals in, right? Number 8 is going to be North Carolina. Now, real quick with North Carolina, because pain in my ass, North Carolina, right? We just closed a deal there probably like 3 weeks ago, okay? North Carolina is great. Same thing, a lot of pockets to find good deals in and things like that, right? So very good to wholesale in. The only pain in the ass with North Carolina is that their contracts right now, they don't mean nothing, okay? Their contracts are meaningless in North Carolina. So you can have a seller under contract basically up until the closing day, and the seller can be like, you know what, I changed my mind. And there's really not much you can do. I spoke to an attorney out in North Carolina when we were closing the deal. I thought I was gonna have a problem with this deal. Thank God it went through. But the attorney himself said, he's like, yeah, you know what, contracts here are meaningless. It's all about litigation, okay? So which means, yeah, I got to sue you. I got to get into a lawsuit with this person if they back out, because the contracts don't really enforce anything. So take that into account, right? Because it can be a pain in the ass. It can be a deal breaker. But when it comes to just strictly the houses, the demand, same thing. A lot of people from New York and Connecticut and Jersey moving to North Carolina, simply from that aspect, from being able to find deals and having a large demand of buyers, North Carolina is a very good one. Same thing goes for number 9, Georgia. Okay, a lot of pockets in Georgia. It's not just Atlanta. There's a lot of different pockets in Georgia too. Down south, people are migrating. You know what I mean? I believe I've closed a few deals. I think Georgia is a attorney state as well, which again can be a pain in the ass. Sometimes it's not. Okay, sometimes it's not, but it definitely can be a pain in the ass. But that is another great area where there's a lot of pockets, high demand, and another great state where you guys can go in, look for different pockets to start getting deals in. And the last one is Missouri. All right, thinking, damn, Missouri? Shout out to my people in Missouri. You probably don't want to live in Missouri. No offense to my people in Missouri. Most people probably don't want to live in Missouri, but there's a lot of different pockets in there as well. It's Springfield, we closed a deal in, and Kansas City and the surrounding areas. That is a market, and remember this, guys, and this is the way that I like to close deals and get into markets. I don't want to be in the sexiest market. You could have all the competition. Go ahead, have fun. I want to be in the market where I can get deals the easiest and rip fat spreads, 20, 30, 40, 50. I don't care if I'm in a sexy market, a little market, whatever it is. Okay, I just want to make money and get as many deals as possible at as big of spreads as possible. Okay, so Missouri is a very, very good one. Still very untapped. We just closed a few out there in the past few months. The only thing with that is, same as Texas, it is a non-disclosure state. So if you don't have MLS access, you can't see what comps sold for, which makes it harder to value whatever property, whatever subject property that you're looking at as well, right? So if you do think about getting into that market, just team up with someone that has MLS access, again, a realtor. Ask them, tell them you'll pay their MLS fees. Tell them you'll send all the retail leads to them. Tell them any novations you get, you'll list it with them, all that good stuff. So those are probably the best 10 markets to virtual wholesale in right now in 2025. Guys, there's deals all over the country, all right? Even outside of the 10 states that I just told you, obviously, okay? In all 50 states, there's deals. New York, California, Texas, right? Iowa, there's deals all over the place. So the main point of this video is to not go crazy about it, but dive into these top 10, because there's so many different pockets in all these top 10s, right? There's so many different areas of where you can go in, start pulling lists or running ads to, and start generating leads and closing deals. So don't overthink it, right? And even if it's outside these top 10, you can still go in, close deals. The only thing that you need to be worried about is just taking consistent action. All right, guys. So if you guys like this, drop down in the comments below what market you're in right now, what market you're looking to get into. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's go. I'll see you guys on the next one.